Welcome back to Dish Shelved with Adam White. Welcome you back here to the heap. This video I'm doing my top 5 random books for people who like to read. They cover several genres and it's just some random books that it's been a while since I've read them and don't really have time to do a full video on each of them, but I think they're authors that are worth checking out. The first one is Greg Hurwitz, and it's The Kill Clause. It is a mystery, uh, sort of a mystery and suspense book. I'll tell you what it says. In one terrible instant, everything Deputy U.S. Marshal Tim Rackley believes in is shattered by the brutal murder of his young daughter. He watches helplessly as her killer walks free on a legal technicality, and now his need for vengeance is leading him into a shadowy no man's land between justice and the law, and into the welcoming fold of the Commission, a vigilante group of restless streetwise operatives who have each lost a loved one to a violent crime. The Commission confronts the failings of an imperfect judicial system, cleaning up society's mistakes covertly, efficiently, and permanently. But Rackley is about to discover the price of playing God is much higher than he anticipated, plunging him into a desperate and devastating battle to save his marriage, his career, his life, and his soul. So that pretty well sums up, that's a good summary of this book. It's got a touch of the Punisher from Marvel Comics in it, who he similarly lost his family. This Tim Rackley loses his daughter right at the beginning. That's not giving anything away. They talk about it right on the back of the book. So, but if you're into suspense, mystery, not really detective, but if you're into that kind of thing, or books about vengeance, this is a great book. I highly recommend it. Next book, number 4, The Killer Angels by Michael Shara. This is for those of you who don't know anything about the Civil War, but would like to know, but want to do it in an entertaining way. A lot of books on the Civil War are dry, and the history type books, and it kind of keeps people from reading them. It's something you should know about, and this book is a fictional recreation. It's in the first 4 most bloody days and courageous days of our nation's history, 2 armies fought for 2 dreams. One dreamed of freedom, the other of a way of life. Far more than rifles and bullets were carried into battle. There were memories, there were promises, there was love, and far more than men fell in those Pennsylvania fields. Shattered futures, forgotten innocence, and crippled beauty were also the casualty of wars. The Killer Angels is a unique, sweeping, unforgettable, and dramatic recreation of the battleground for America's destiny. So yeah, again, if you'd like to know a little bit more about the Civil War, again, this is a fictional account of it, but the book is really good. It's a good read. It's entertaining. I mean, it is about a very serious subject, but it's written in such a way that it's very accessible to readers. And it may make you want to read a little bit more about the Civil War. And it's an important thing, especially today when people are so divided, and there's still a lot of racism and things like that in our society. This gives you a good look at the people involved. And again, it's fiction, but it comes across as a personal account, and there's a lot of stuff in it that's also accurate to the time and the war. So if you have any inkling of reading anything about any type of war book, I highly recommend this. It's very good. The Killer Angels by Michael Shara. Very good book. The next one is Denise Mina, Field of Blood. a sensational murder. The victim is a 3-year-old and alleged perpetrators are also minors. Provides the young journalist Patty Meehan with her big professional break when she realizes she has a personal connection to one of the suspects. Launching her own investigation, Patty uncovers lines of deception that go deep into the past and that could spell even more horrible crimes in the future if she doesn't get the story right. Denise Mina is a very good writer of mystery novels. She's also written some comic books like Hellblazer. I did an interview with her one time. You can probably still find it online. Uh, ComicCritique.com. It focused more on her comic work than her novels, but uh, she's a very nice person as well. Uh, this is a great story about a young reporter who is on her first major assignment and is trying to make a name for herself. And I'm still trying to keep this in frame, but everything's backwards from what I'm looking at. uh, Very good book, good protagonist. There's 2 sequels to this, so if you like it, there's more where that came from. And she's written a handful of other books, all of which are good. Denise Mina, very good author, very nice person. Uh, I highly recommend her if you like mystery detective fiction. I mean, there's not really a detective in it, but she is doing some detecting as an investigative reporter. Okay, next book, The Last Wish by Andrzej Sapkowski. This is the first of the Witcher novels. This one actually is more of a collection of short stories that follow each other. Geralt de Rivia is a witcher, a cunning sorcerer, a merciless assassin, and a cold-blooded killer. His sole purpose to destroy the monsters that plague the world. But not everything monstrous-looking is evil, and not every fair is good. And in every fairy tale there is a grain of truth. This spawned, I think, more than one video game and a series on Netflix. But it's about the Witcher Geralt de Rivia and very entertaining. There's a whole series of novels that come after this one. This is the first one, The Last Wish. And again, having trouble getting that into picture there. But there we go. And it's fantasy. If you like Conan the Barbarian, if you like sword and sorcery, uh, if you just like good storytelling, this is a very good book. Again, like I said, it's made up of short stories, I believe. Yeah, well, I can't find the title page, but it's a great book. Highly recommend it. Highly recommend the whole series. It's a good book if you're looking for good fantasy, especially if you want one that, if you like, there's plenty more where that came from. Okay, the last one, number 1 that I want to talk about is called Perdido Street Station by China Mieville. This is actually the Scar that you're looking at right here, a sister book to that one, but it's called Perdido Street Station. I couldn't find my copy of it to show you. I'm showing you his name right here. I'm going to read from the description on Amazon. Beneath the towering bleached ribs of a dead ancient beast lies New Krobazon, a squalid city where humans, remaids, and arcane races live in perpetual fear of Parliament and its brutal militia. The air and rivers are thick with a factory pollutants and a strange effluence of alchemy, and the ghettos contain a vast mix of workers, artists, spies, junkies, and whores. In New Krobazon, the unsavory deal is stranger to none, not even to Isaac, a brilliant scientist with a penchant for crisis theory. Isaac has spent a lifetime carrying out his unique research, But when a half-bird, half-human creature known as a Garuda comes to him from afar, that Isaac is faced with challenges he has never before fathomed. Though the Garuda's request is scientifically daunting, Isaac is sparked by his own curiosity and an uncanny reverence for this curious stranger. While Isaac's experiments for the Garuda turn into an obsession, one of his lab specimens demands attention, a brilliantly colored caterpillar that feeds on nothing but a hallucinatory drug and grows larger and more consuming by the day. What finally emerges from the silken cocoon will permeate every fiber of New Crobazon, and not even the ambassador of hell will challenge the malignant terror it invokes. That's a very brief description of this story. This story, it's a big book. Again, it's called Perdido Street Station by China Mieville. It's a science fantasy. It's got some elements of fantasy, some elements of science fiction. It's a big book, and I will tell you straight out from the beginning that it is a little difficult to read, but in a good way. It challenges you as a reader and really makes you think about what's going on. The prose is clear, and it's not difficult in that way. It's just there's a lot of things going on in this book. And he's a really good author. I recommend any of his stuff. Perdido Street Station, again, is wholly alien in the world that he creates. A lot of times in most science fiction, the alien type creatures you meet are pretty much human in terms at least of their ways of life, and you don't ever really get a sense of the truly alien. This book gives you the sense of the truly alien. They're all on the same planet, New Crobazon, but in this city, and but it gives you a real alien sense of different types of creatures. The slake moths in it are one of the most terrifying things that I've ever read in a book. They are truly horrendous creatures, and the way they have to deal with them is fascinating. And it's, like I said, they're just truly terrifying. And it's a book that covers a lot of things, I mean, from the political to the, just to what it is to be human and what it is to be Garuda, what it is to be, there's insect-like race that are like part human, part insect. It's just a fascinating book. Again, you'll want to dedicate a little bit of time when you read it because it's complicated in a good way. And it challenges you as a reader, and I think as readers, you need a good challenge sometimes to keep you going as a reader. And it's a really, really good book. I can't recommend it enough. So that's my top 5 for this week. Random books that I just don't have enough time to do a full workup of on here, but those are 5 really good books. I highly recommend them. Again, it's China Mieville, Perdido Street Station, The Last Witch by Andrzej Sapkowski, the first one of the Witcher stories, Denise Mina, Field of Blood, which again, there is sequels, Michael Shara, The Killer Angels, about the Civil War, very good book. Again, it is fictional, but you get a real sense of the real history of the war in it. And also Greg Hurwitz, The Kill Clause, good revenge story. it really also looks at what it means to be a human being in the face of tragedy and what you do to cope with that. Just as a good suspense novel, too. Great books, and I hope you'll check them out. And thank you for being with me again here this week, and I hope to see you next week.